Hi, Kristen Zhivago here. I want to talk for just a few minutes about SEO, search engine optimization. There's the bad guy way of doing it, and there's the good guy way of doing it. Let's talk about the bad guys first. Let's just get that out of the way. What happens is the bad guys make big promises. They say they're going to get you to the top of the rankings in 2 weeks. And it sounds good, and they say they'll generate content for you, and they'll make Google happy with you because they're generating so much content. So you hire them, and here's what they do. They first work on backlinks. They might get started on content too, but an easy thing for them to get started on is backlinking, where some other site is linking back to your site. They have resources that they've built or people that they've partnered with, and those sites are perfectly amenable to having backlinks to your site, to link back to your site. So they do. The problem is that these link farms are low domain authority sites typically. And so you don't really get much bang for your buck. You might end up with 100 links overnight. But if the domain authority is not good on those links, which it usually isn't, Google will actually see that as a negative, not a positive, and they will download or downgrade your domain authority. So you'll be paying money to make Google or other search engines think less of your site. The content that they'll generate will either be AI generated or generated offshore or something so they don't have to pay much money for it. And it won't be content that you will ultimately be proud of. It won't represent your point of view, your experience, everything that you've learned that's gone into your business, and the ways that you help people. So that doesn't help either. And the less relevant the content is, the lower your rankings go, because the truth about SEO is that regardless of the search engine, what they're looking for is relevant content. And Google often makes changes in their algorithm to make sure they're better at finding that relevant content, recognizing it, and serving it up, ranking it more highly. So that's why bad guy SEO is really a waste of money. And we have clients coming to us saying, we tried that, didn't work. Well, that's why. You're paying money to make your site worse in the eyes of the search engines. Not a good idea. The good guy way of doing it is to understand that we're not selling to search engines. We're selling the click. We want the people who are looking for us to click through to our site because what we've written is going to help them. It's going to answer questions for them. It's going to educate them. And that's what you want. You want people coming to your site who have a high intent, a high interest in buying your product or service. So the content has to be relevant. It has to include your point of view, your unique perspective on the industry and how to help people and how people can make best use of your products and services. It's educational, it's interesting, it's human to human. It's written by a professional writer who, in our case, we dedicate a US-based writer to your account. And they get to know you really well as an insider would. And they represent you properly in the content. We write content on a regular basis. Google and other search engines care about frequency and recency, but they mostly care about relevancy. Now, we all know that AI is changing everything right now, including search. But as AI gets more embedded in the whole searching process, we're seeing that this hasn't changed. The relevancy, the importance of the content as it relates to your buyer is the main thing that matters. And that's a human-to-human kind of thing. That's writing content for another human being who has specific desires, concerns, and questions as they look at your product and competitors' products. One of the things we do is we build an SEO persona for you, where you are the persona that we're building. And what we do there is we look at all of your competitors who are being found for the same keywords that you're being found for, and we see which keywords are bringing in the clicks for your competitors. And so we add those keywords to the list of keywords that we're going after. We also look at the keywords that you want to be found for. And we do a lot of other research on that, but that's the basis of making sure that what we write is going to be recognized by a search engine so that you are seen as a thought leader in the field. Now, we've written articles that have risen to the top of search engine results to the point where they dominate the first 10 items, and then they stay there for years. It's a real wonderful thing when that happens, but it works, and we can do that for you. Sometimes it takes a little while to figure out what is that magic bean. I don't believe in magic beans, but it's the closest thing I've ever seen to a magic bean for SEO. You write something that's so useful to people and so much of a hot topic in your area that people gravitate to your content, and if it's written well and it gives them what they need, the search engines pay attention to that. How many people come, how long they stay, what's their interest, how many times they click around to the rest of your site after they've read the article. There's a lot of that sort of analysis that goes on. And yes, we track. We make sure that we know which articles are bringing in the most traffic, and we base our decisions about what we're going to write about next on the popularity of the articles that we've already written. So this builds momentum over time, and it just gets better and better. That's good guy SEO.